Hi, I'm Matt, and these are all of the drugs that I take to help me fight cancer. For a little while now, I've had this idea of I should really just go over each drug that I have and what it does to help me and how it's helping me fight cancer, and that's exactly what we're going to do today. Because I think a lot of people know that you go on a lot of drugs when you have cancer, when you're in treatment, but they don't know what those drugs are. So today, we're going over all of these. We're going to start with these. These obviously are not drugs. This is paper, but these are descriptions of all the chemo drugs that I get every time I go and get chemotherapy, which obviously they do not let me bring home, and nor would I want to. I don't want to see these any more than I need to. So, first up, nivolumab. This is my immunotherapy. It's the first drug that I get every time I go in. Goes in the drip bag into my IV, soon to be into my chest port. And you don't really feel it. It's okay. This is the one that I'm pretty sure makes me sore in my upper chest and some of my bones later in the week. But it's a very small price to pay because this one teaches my body how to identify cancer cells and how to kill them on their own. So it's essentially making me a superhero. So for a little bit of soreness in my upper chest, I will take that any day of the week. All right, dacarbazine. I'm gonna be honest, I don't really know what this one is. It's one of the chemo drugs. It is helping kill my tumors. I don't think you feel this one so much. It gets mixed into another drip. Helps me kill tumors, so I'll take it. There's another one that got mixed in here. Vinblastine. I don't like this one. This is the one that really messes with your veins, and very often it's what burns your veins. So for the last 3 chemos afterwards in my left arm, it's felt like my veins have had chemical burn, which is no good, and it's why I'm getting the port put in my chest so I don't have to feel that anymore. But again, helps me beat cancer. I'll take a little bit of achiness in my arm any day. And then we've got the big guy, doxorubicin, aka the Red Devil. That's the one that you have probably seen if you've seen my chemo videos, where it looks like red Kool-Aid and they have to manually pump it into my arm. The reason that they do that, and it's not just on a drip that goes into my veins, is because I think they said every 5-10 seconds they need to pull back on it and make sure there's blood return in the IV. What that means is some of my blood is going through the tubes so they can tell that the needle is still in my vein. And the reason for that is because doxorubicin, if it gets into your flesh, like if it escapes your vein, it is highly corrosive and will eat all your skin and your muscle tissue. So they got to be really, really careful with that. Luckily, I think that's an extreme rarity, and it's only when something goes wrong, and it hasn't for me. But I'm just very thankful to the nurses because that's all on them. I just sit there. So yeah, those are my chemo drugs. And then we move on to the other stuff. So I don't even know how to say that one. I'm not going to try to. This is what I call my chemo super pill. This is mandatory before chemo. You have to take it 1 hour before, and it's just a nausea nuke. So I'm pretty sure without this during chemo, you would feel horrific, and I pretty much feel nothing during chemo. So huge fan of this guy. And you have to, we'll get down the line after. This magic mouthwash. When you get diagnosed with cancer, they tell you that there's 3 areas that they look out for, and one of them is your oral health. You can start to get mouth sores when you're on chemo, which luckily I haven't had until this round. They're there now. The one in the back where I had my wisdom teeth, back left here, has gone away, which is really nice thanks to this guy, but I still have one on the back of my upper lip here that's being a bit more stubborn, probably because it keeps getting bumped when I eat and everything, but this is going to help that go away. So if you ever have mouth sores, magic mouthwash works really, really well. All right, moving on. This is the most basic one. Pantoprazole. This is super common acid reflux medication. I was actually on this before I got cancer. It's exactly that. Acid reflux medication stops the mucus and nastiness from coming back up, which chemo can make worse. So I take this during the week of chemo. And we got the money maker. This is hydromorphone. 1 step below pure morphine. This is for pain. So when I have my white blood cell booster, which I'm now realizing is not even in front of me, it's in the fridge, that they inject into my lower belly, and it makes my bones really hurt. this is what helps me with that. So hydromorphone, really, really love this one. Keeps me from pain. This one, alopurinol. This is one I'm actually not on anymore, which is good. They put you on this for the first 2 weeks, and I guess it's an anti-gout medication. The reason they do it is it helps your kidneys flush out anything. So when you start chemo, they keep you in the hospital, or at least they did for me, overnight. And the worry is not that the chemo doesn't work or that your kidneys don't work for whatever reason. It's that chemo works, in my case, and for my cancer, so well that they're worried that the tumors will break down so quickly that they'll overwhelm your kidneys and your kidneys will shut down as a result of that. So alopurinol helped me, so that didn't happen. But you only have to take that for the first few weeks and then you're off it, which is really, really good. All right, dexamethazone. Steroids. Not the fun kind of steroids, not the get you jacked kind. Not that those are fun, but I assume they're more fun than these. These are also mandatory with this before chemo. So you have to take your chemo super pill and 8 milligrams of dexamethasone. That's just to help with nausea, help with swelling, whole litany of things. I've also taken these when I had tumor flare-ups in my neck and when I couldn't lay down on my back without the tumor here pushing against my windpipe. It just helped with the inflammation a little bit. So yeah, before chemo and for inflammation whenever my doctor tells me to. All right, this one has a name that is a goddamn disaster. It is prochlorazine, but this one I love. This is a nausea after the fact pill. And what that means is I can take this up to every 4 hours. Anytime I start feeling nauseous, pop one of these, nausea's gone in 30 minutes. Fun little story about these guys is when I started them, we were curious what it was, me and my wife. So we thought, oh, maybe it's like Gravol, but better, right? What is it? We Googled it. It's not that. This is essentially an antipsychotic. So they give this to schizophrenic patients. And what it does is it goes into your brain and just says, you know that thing that you're feeling? Yeah, you're not feeling that. And it just shuts it down. But in the case of being very nauseous from some insanely intense drugs pumped into your veins, I'll take it any day of the week. Love this one. All right, this is more dexamethasone. Guess I've got extras. This is where it starts getting a little, well, it's still real, you know? This is for constipation. So, I'm someone who anytime I take a painkiller, I get backed up. And a lot of the population is like that. It's a very, very, very common thing. And chemo drugs are known for getting in there and just shutting down your digestion. So, I have to take these as needed. This is Restoralax. Basically take it in the morning, and I bet a good amount of people watching this, if you've had cats, you've probably given this to a cat. Very common as well. All it does is if you have a hard turd, it puts some liquid into it so you can pass it. So this is kind of like the very over-the-counter, very common thing to help with constipation, but it's not going to solve it if you're completely constipated. That's this guy. I don't like this one. It works, but this is a full-on laxative. This is a full ripcord in case of emergency, so to speak. So this one, yeah, you just take it when you're in bad shape. And I think the reason it works so well, and it makes you shit so much, is because when you take it, if you have the unfortunate time of tasting the pill, it tastes like you're eating literal shit. I do not like this one. I'm very glad that I've only had to take it one time so far, and I hope I don't have to take it again during this. But yeah, use in case of emergency. So this is all of them. Plus, you know what? Give me 1 second. I'm going to go get the white blood cell boosters. Okay, so this is all of the drugs that help me fight cancer. Lastly, my least favorite, grastofil. Not to say that it's not remarkable, it's just one I react to a lot. So this one, you got your little needle, kind of EpiPen-ish, goes in your belly fat and it flushes your bones and encourages them to make more white blood cells. So in my case, the way my body is reacting with chemo is a lot of my levels are pretty good. We've had a few things hit and miss, but low neutrophils, low white blood cell count neutrophils have been a very, very common thing for me. So this just boosts them as needed. I don't like taking it because my lower back and hips are in immense pain, often the night and the day after, which is why I ended up in the hospital the first time I took it. But luckily, with, I think this one's the painkiller, it's not too bad, but it can get quite bad if you don't have painkillers. So yeah, this is everything. Chemo drugs in paper form, laxatives, white blood cell boosters, dexamethazone steroids, anti-nausea alopurinol, kidney medication, what is this one? Hydromorphone pain medication, anti-reflux medication, pantoprazole, magic mouthwash, chemo nuke. This is all the stuff going into me right now. So, thank you for bearing with me. I feel like this one's going to be a bit longer than usual, but this is the litany. These are the drugs I take to fight cancer.